Okay, welcome to the 16th episode of the How to Build a Black Nation with Power podcast. This podcast is about understanding and bringing together the many pieces of our empowerment and freedom puzzle under one unified umbrella to ensure we don't become a permanent underclass in the country that was built on the backs of our ancestors. Taking into consideration what our people have done and what so many of them are still doing, like this wonderful sister here, we want our people to know that we are most certainly not starting our empowerment and freedom march from square one. My name is Tamani Mwandani. I am the founder of the Black Gold Nation. I am a direct product of the Shrines of the Black Madonna's efforts since 1953 to liberate and save Black people by building a nation within this nation. And our headquarters is in Houston, Texas, which is where I am. The podcast is called How to Build a Black Nation with Power because we want our people to understand that the pieces we need do exist. We want our people to know that you have to have a strong foundation if you're going to have a nation with power. And we have that because it's based on the Shrines of the Black Madonna, which started in 1953. You have to have leadership, which is why we're interviewing this sister this morning. You have to have Black people who know what they're doing in the critical areas by which Black people are being attacked and by which we are losing this war that we're born into. And of course, everyone has to have a spiritual connection with one another and a higher power, because that is our super weapon. That is something that we can use to move ourselves forward that other people simply do not have. So this morning, we're going to focus on a very, very, very critical area of agriculture, because of course, we got to eat. So today's
definitely got to eat.
We got to eat.
I like to eat. So.
Amen. Sister Tiffany Washington, who is a candidate for our National Community Agriculture Development Division, which is a part of our Agribusiness and Food Systems Economics Department. Right. So a little bit of information about Sister Tiffany before we get into the interview. Community-centered agriculturalist, strong-minded and motivated learner. Ms. Washington is passionate about family agriculture and community farming that benefits the health and nutritional wellness of her neighbors. After experiencing the oppression of today's policies and laws that have eliminated Black access to healthy foods, Ms. Washington has spearheaded a fight to see direct funding for Black farmers in Austin, Texas. She believes that local governments have the funding to pay Black farmers to rebuild communities that have been left behind by liberal agendas. The literary type, on my planet, everything is possible. OIF/OEF, Navy veteran, urban farmer, supporting local food production in communities in Austin, Texas. Off the farm, she says that I specialize in increasing the operational proficiency of small businesses. I provide innovative office solutions that help streamline growth and success. She's a mobile notary public. She's registered with SAM for federal, state, and local government contracting. Okay, Sister Tiffany, so based on that very brief bio of you, is there anything that you would like to add?
I like to eat. Brisket is my favorite food. Yeah, no, that's everything. That's everything wrapped up in a bunch. I'm a mommy. I got 4 beautiful Black kids. I'm married. I have a husband, and I'm just here for the work. And I think that I just found myself in a position where I'm able to share something that nobody really sees today. And I've just been so grateful for that. So that's really it. I mean,
Okay. All right. So first question for those who have no idea about the U.S. military vernacular and acronyms. What is OIF/OEF?
Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. So one is for being deployed during in the Iraqi zone and war area, and then the other is for Afghanistan.
Okay. How long were you in?
So I was in for 4 years.
Okay.
So I went straight out of high school to the U.S. Navy. And I mean, I graduated high school in 2002. So I literally was a senior in homeroom. I was in my homeroom watching on like TV News 1, the towers, yep. Right? So everybody was like, well, why would you do that? But I had already signed up. I was already planning on doing that. My family is all military men. My uncles went to the Army, so I'm the only kind of Navy person, but my baby brother actually just left, and he's in the Air Force. So right now my baby brother is in Germany doing training, and then he's going to be going out to Turkey. So prayers up for that. But I just kind of went to the military. I don't know.
Okay. So what was your MOS? What was your job in the Navy? What did you do?
So I was an intelligence specialist. And I was on like a recognition team, recce squad. So I was able to identify equipment and heavy equipment, missiles and airplanes and stuff like that. Okay. And I built strike packages. I briefed and debriefed pilots, and sometimes we would do presentations for like the admiral if he would come out, or like the captain of the ship, or the commander of the actual war squadron that was deployed. Because I was deployed during wartime, so it was, I didn't realize at the time, right? Because I was only 19, 20 years old. You don't think like that far that you're participating in war, right? I was like, out here, I'm on an aircraft carrier. I love water. Before high school, I was a lifeguard. Okay. So I worked for the city of Austin as a lifeguard from the time I was 15 to the time I graduated high school. Like, I literally saw my wages increase based on I kept coming back and being a lifeguard 3, lifeguard 4, like that.
Right.
So just being out there, I didn't recognize like the danger, you know what I'm saying? So I was just, serving my country. I wanted to participate, everybody I knew was in service in some type of way. They were a veteran or something like that. So I think that's just a part of my youth and being so young and uninhibited, and you just go out there and you just like ready for life, right? So now, as I have my own children, and like my baby brother is in his mid-20s, late 20s, going to the military, and I think about it, and I'm like, it kind of messes my mind up. I'm like, girl, you was somebody that could have dropped bombs on you. You was dropping bombs on them. So now I just kind of, and it kind of makes me think to like, what goes on in my community, right? So that kind of snapped me into this mode of local activism, I guess. It wasn't something that I was seeking to do. I was just kind of, growing food and doing gardening for like my family, and like I had some tortoises. So I was growing lettuce for my tortoises because I didn't want to keep buying it. But then I kind of started to realize what happened to the Black agriculture. And when we talk about stuff like Tulsa and bombings of communities and bombings of ideas and tangible things that I know that Black people had, I realized they was trying to kill us.
I wouldn't say was. Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know. I don't know.
It is what it is. I mean, and the record speaks for itself. History speaks for itself.
I was about to say, history speaks for itself. And so when I look at and it's done through catastrophes, disasters, strong arm takeovers of the land and stuff like that. And so in order to find a way to combat that, one, I had to stand firm in being a farmer and saying that I'm a farmer, because as Black people, we don't see that. You don't see people walk around like, I'm out here farming, slanging these vegetables. I don't know what y'all skills, but I'm weighing up these tomatoes, this lettuce and this cabbage. So and so I have to tell people, talk like that, because my farm is urban. It's an urban farm, and I'm in the hood. I identify with an oppressed population because I'm an oppressed farmer. you know, and I tell people that. And so I'm marginalized and vulnerable. My kids are. And so when I have conversations about agriculture and farming with people in my community, I come at them like that. And they be like, what? I be like, yeah, girl, you know, I'm out here slanging this green. I got this lettuce. I got this kale. They be like, this girl is crazy. I'm like, no, because it catches people's ear. And it makes them think, what's she talking about? And so now you want to know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that they are killing us because we're not growing none of this. None of y'all grow it. We just acting like it just show up at the restaurants. And so, you know, we look to chefs for our nutritional value. We look to people preparing our meals, for nutritional health value, but they're not the people putting in the nutrients in the soil to grow what they're preparing. So we've eliminated an entire level in our sustainability period.
And we don't think how food can be used as a weapon to not only keep it from people, but they will poison your food as well. And it's not just here in America. I mean, they've done that to people of color all over the planet.
It's everywhere. And so one of the things that really took to me is that I try to stay really, really hyper local, because when I talk about history and I look at my own history, and that's how I kind of got into something that I like to call agricultural genealogy.
Okay, wait. Before you go there, let's take a step back first. I got to ask you two questions leading into that.
You told me I only got about an hour, so I'm trying to make sure.
No, I said an hour at minimum.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's take a few steps back. So why the Navy and not the Army, like some of your other family members, or the Air Force or the Marines? Why the Navy?
I like to swim. I like the water.
Want to be in the ocean?
I want to be in the ocean. I want to see what it felt like to be out to sea, in the sea, you know? Like I said, being a lifeguard, it was just the next thing. I actually wanted to be on the Naval Search and Rescue team, you know, the people that jump out the helicopter if somebody fall overboard. So
what happened with
that? And then I looked into like EOD, like detonating underwater mines and getting in the suit. I went to that class. I did all of that stuff. It was the intel. I'm nosy. I like to research.
You know what's going on.
I want to know what's going on. I'm nosy. I like to research information, and I'm really into history. And so I think that growing up, there's just certain things that don't get they don't get nurtured. Take your helper. Okay. They don't get nurtured in us. Because you think about, well, what is she gonna do with this history? Like, I don't know a lot of young kids who have such an interest in history that somebody's saying, go be a historian and like archive, but like, what is a historian? They're a preserver of history, right? An archivist. You know, these things are things that we can translate the talents that our children are displaying so that they can convert them into real life opportunity. We don't understand how to do that. And so I didn't learn that until I went to the military, because being an intelligence specialist that's a nosy person. That's a person looking out the window trying to get that information so they can reply it. It's, you know, so but I liked books. I've always liked to read. You know, they talk about you want to hide something from people, put it in a book. Y'all didn't read this. Let me read you. I bust out a book in the middle of the party and start reading. And I did it yesterday, and everybody was looking at me like, what? I was like, no, I need to read y'all this. This line right here is in this book. And it says, now it'll be something crazy. And they'll be like, wow. I'll be like, somebody took the time to write that down. I don't believe that for 1 second. Some people do, but not history, not detailed history. Nobody is like taking the time to spend their life as a scholar, traveling, unearthing information just to like, you know, whatever. But I like to read.
So you've always been that way growing up?
I've always been away. I used to hide in the closet. My mom in the front, in the hallway, it used to be a closet, and it was like a bookshelves in there. It was like, but for storage.
Okay.
But the bottom shelf, I used to keep books, and I would have books in there. And I would go in the closet and hide and read my books. But I would also be eavesdropping because I couldn't read all the way. I was still learning how to read. This is kind of how I taught myself how to read.
Yeah.
And I would listen to the adults talk because they would spell words,
Okay.
right? Because they didn't want me to know what they
what they were saying, yeah.
Yeah, so they would spell them. And so when they would spell them, I would remember what it was spelled like, and I would find it in the book. And so now I got the time to sit and sound it out in a sentence. And so I would get the word, and then that just kind of, and I would just go, and I just love books.
Did you learn all the bad words first?
Yeah.
Because usually they're spelling curse words and whatnot that they don't want you to know about.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I learned about Pepe Le Pew, little cats and all that. Yep. First.
What kind of high school student were you? Did you play sports? Were you straight A's, straight B's?
Oh man, I played sports. I was an all sport, what you would call an all sport. Like even right now, I coach the cheers fitness team.
All right.
And so I think that's one of the first things that we enter in as young ladies in athleticism is cheerleading, or tumbling and cartwheels and stuff. And so I played basketball, softball, I ran track, I played volleyball as well.
Wow.
The only thing I didn't do was swim because there was no Black people on the swim team. I don't know. We just had.
You would have been the one.
I would have been the one, right? It's just, and it probably was some girls, but it was just in our communities, in certain types of communities. These are just, we just going to the local pool to swim. We going to swim and look cute, or ain't nobody telling us, girl, you swim so good, go be on that swim team at your school.
Right.
It's like, so I really go out my way to try to invest in the things that my kids display interest in and talents in. I tell them how those things can be done for real in real life. But yeah, I was a pretty good student. I was a really good student, I was in all AP classes. I was in AP English, AP History, all from 9th to 12th grade. I fell out with my AP History teacher in the 12th grade because I cut off all my hair and I dyed it blonde. But then I dyed the blonde raven blue. It was like this. It was like the color of this microphone.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so no, I can't help you right now. Okay. Bye. Thank you. I appreciate it, but don't come back, please. Bye. Don't come back. Terrible.
I remember. No problem.
But no, when I dyed it that color, she like put me out of her class and told my mama that I had to have a proper color. So my mama made me take the blue out and leave it platinum blonde. So my hair was like platinum white. It was like white, and I was a senior in high school. And so when I went back to class, the teacher was like, you can't be in here. I called my mama. My mama came up there, and I said, she was like, well, why that white girl hair is jet black? I was like, oh my God. Yep, because last week she was definitely a redhead, mama.
That's right. What's up with this double standard?
Yep. So I sat in there, and I think around that time is when I kind of got to that. It got boring. I think I felt like I was learning the same stuff, and it wasn't going any more in depth. Once I took government and history. I had like my senior year, I had nothing but straight history, humanities type classes. And I was like, man, now what's this about? So I'm digging, and I started having like this little like epiphany, and like, something is wrong, right? But I just couldn't put my finger on it. I was just too young to really understand, and so I think going to the military and me actually being a part of that process and stepping outside of, like, I guess what you would call like civilian life, I guess.
Sure. Yeah.
It kind of really helped me to put a finger on what it means to be in service and of service, and what it means to be a servant. And I had to kind of understand that I think that all of that matters right now is me being a farmer. Because like I said, farmers are not, they're not noticed, you just, and like, when you do think about farmers, you legitimately think about slavery. It just immediately goes to slavery. And I think that that's a big problem, because in actuality, it's a bunch of old white men destroying the land with bad agricultural practices. And so, so I get so passionate about it, because when I look into my own family history, like I say, agricultural genealogy, I see where they've done it. I see where they've whitewashed agriculture. I see where they've whitewashed our food and then told us that we are obese, we are diabetics, we have high cholesterol. Well, we ain't growing none of it. So don't tell me what to eat and how to eat it. Tell me I need to be growing this, because if I'm growing it, then we're not gonna have no problems. Because how did y'all go from sitting back getting fanned by my babies that y'all just saying come through here? How was y'all getting fanned by them while sipping tea while I was out picking eggplants? To all of a sudden, all y'all do is grow all the food all over the country.
Right. Yeah. And you said it. It's like the more you read, the more you dig, the more you uncover the truth of what really happened. And I'm glad you're getting to the point of the family, because the next question is about your farm and the name of the farm. It is Dobbin Cove.
Dobbin Cove.
Dobbin Cove Garden Farm. So what does that mean? Who is Dobbin Cove? I'm assuming it has something to do with your grandmother. I'm assuming.
Yes, so these are ancestral names. So I went back through my history and I found names that were that really touched me or gave me chills. You have a lot of surnames in your tree, but those two names were the names that really stuck out to me. So the Dobbins, my father is a descendant of the Durdans. And on that side, he also has some Dobbins. And so the Dobbins name, for some reason, just jumped out at me. And then my mother on her side is the Kavanaugh. And she's a Kavanaugh, and the Kavanaughs are an Irish clan from Clan Kavanaugh. And I was able to trace that back through actual biological, like DNA connection, to like the Kavanaughs, the Irish Kavanaughs or whatever. But that's my mama. And it's just such a unique name, Kavanaugh, So I just put them together, Dobbin Cove. And it just meant that I was just gonna be always rooted in some type of tradition or value in that name, because when I look at those names, they was all farmers, they was all agriculture, they had something to do with creating or starting a farming community where they, lived and raised their families. And so because I hadn't seen that, right, because I feel like my knowledge and my education and my opportunity to learn what agriculture and farming was taken away from me because of the displacement we've had in agriculture. And so now I have to learn it for myself, as opposed to me being able to pass it down to my kids the way they were passing down agriculture. They were passing down those things. I feel like so many distractions were thrown, like school. Like now I have to go learn a planned curriculum, when before I was learning the planned curriculum that my mama gave me because she had the day planned out. I had to go out, feed my chickens,
Yep.
feed my cows,
Yep.
tend to my plants, come in, clean, wash my hands, sit down, read, listen to my mama give me some spiritual love and energy, get up, go back, check on them chickens. And so they've replaced these natural things that I believe in from the Bible that that were given to me as a person that I am, as a daughter of God.
So how
I
long
don't know
have you
what
been
to
farming?
say. It bothers me. It gets all in my spirit that it's just gone. Where'd it go?
Okay.
Like, it's only 45,000 Black farmers out of 3.4 something million.
Right. Yeah.
That's a genocide on Black agriculture. That's the food. That's our food.
Yeah, and like we were saying earlier, it happened via a process, and of course we want to talk about it. But first, let me find out from you, how long have you been farming? How many acres do you farm on now, and what do you actually grow? How long you been farming? How many acres, and what do you actually grow?
I've been farming for 5 years, and I'm currently growing on a 1/4 acre. We live on a 2-acre property that our goal is to purchase, and then put in an orchard on the other half. So we want to utilize the entire property for agricultural production and education, and just a revitalized space in the community. People, this is a prototype. This is the blueprint for agriculture in an oppressed environment. It's against all odds. So
what do you grow?
So I grow leafy greens. I like to grow baby stuff. I like to grow mini veg, cherry tomatoes, mini heads of romaine lettuce, baby eggplant, because my husband gave me that thought as a man, and being a man from a distinguished lifestyle, he's never still, right? But he liked to eat salads, and so he used to waste a whole head of lettuce and it'll just go bad. And so if you grow a mini romaine, it's just like a personal size. You just rinse it, chop it down, put it in a bowl, drop you some cherry tomatoes on there, some carrots, whatever, and he gone. So I think a lot of men are like that. When you give them bite-sized produce, they gonna eat it more. But when they gotta lug around all this produce, they just not gonna partake. They just expecting a woman to do it. And then I got boys and kids, and so I had to get my kids into eating produce in small portions. So the whole carrots, they have carrots. Those carrots grow like that. They have seeds for carrots that are only this big.
Okay.
So I don't have to, and once I grow it, I can let that go to flower and collect the carrot seeds, and and I always have little baby carrots.
Yeah.
So, but so carrots, leafy greens, I'll grow leafy greens. I like to grow herbs. I like to grow stuff that complements stuff. So I want to make salsa. I want my neighbors to taste my salsa. So I'm gonna grow peppers, onions. I'm gonna grow some chives. I'm gonna grow some cilantro, some parsley, all the things that's gonna go in the salsa. That's what I'm gonna grow. I want to make dill pickles. I want to sell dill pickles. I'm gonna grow cucumbers, banana peppers. Some herbs, pepper plant. You can grow little pepper jack plants or whatever.
Right.
Sugar cane. We growing sugar cane out here just in case I need a little fresh sugar.
You grow sugar cane now?
So I missed the season, but we're making the space I spaced off the area where I want to grow my sugar cane for next year. So we're prepping that area, putting in the proper nutrients. The sugar cane, we're gonna grow it inside of like bamboo. We're gonna put bamboo over there. And I try to like landscape my farm so there's places, because that's where we're gonna make a tortoise habitat, because we're gonna get some new tortoises and because I like tortoises, and put them out there. And so it'll be bamboo and sugar cane, and have a mulberry bush where the berries will drop down and they can eat them and stuff. I'm just an outdoorsy kind of chick. And so and so I just figured, how do I make this space edible?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And how do I make it benefit myself? And so I'm gonna put peach trees, and because I'm in a pecan grove, I have 13 pecan trees that are like 30 or 40 years old, but they need care and maintenance.
You have how many pecan trees?
13 pecan trees.
On a quarter acre of land?
No, I live on 2 acres, but we're only farming a quarter acre.
Okay.
We've been farming the back quarter acre for 5 years already.
Oh.
We've been living in the home because we were commuting. So what I did was, because I ain't got no money, I'm broke, I'm marginalized and vulnerable, poor.
Yeah.
But other people not, and they got land, so why not use it? I mean, so I had just found someone who wanted to lease their property to a farmer. And I was like, well, I can't afford to live on 2 acres. I can't afford that. But what about just leasing me the backyard and access to water? Like, they was like, what? I was like, yeah, what? It's just a vacant lot. So the house was split, like it sits on 2 full acres, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you have your backyard and it's a gate, but the backyard is just a whole quarter acre vacant meadow, and no one's ever back there. It's just overgrown, and it's just because you got another acre and a quarter, acre and a quarter to do whatever you want or whatever,
Okay.
you just living on it. But this back piece is just vacant. And so it was just vacant. I said, what I gotta do is cut the grass. I come in with a lawnmower. We came in with the mower, cut it down. She helped us out. She did pay for somebody to come in and cut it the first time, so that I wouldn't. So she didn't want me to be bitten or eaten by anything crazy. So she paid people to cut it down, because it was like 6 feet, 8 feet amaranth, wild sunflowers. It was just a weeded vacant lot that you driving around the hood and you be like, man, that lot just vacant. And everybody said, so when I started putting in the farm, everybody said, this used to be a vacant lot.
Right.
This used to be a meadow.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember it was a house that said way back there, but it was always a meadow and flowers and plants everywhere. So then I started learning more about the house. And so they used to have garden parties here. The original owners of the home had garden parties here. It was built in 1947, the house was. And so they had like garden parties, and the lady was like a member of the neighborhood garden association and stuff. So I'm blessed. She probably like, thank you, somebody that came and restored my pecan grove, because the poor pecan trees is just dying. Nobody was loving them. I go hug them and talk to them. I be like, it's okay, pecan tree. I got you. So everything's just been kind of going fine. Like I say, if I can put pecans, because the old man in the back, he was like, they put up a fence, and he was like, hey man, don't put that fence up like that, because that man said we can always come in their yard and get those pecans. And the people that put the fence up was like, well, that man ain't here no more, so we got to put the fence up. So it's like the pecans wasn't feeding the neighbors no more.
Right.
So now that I'm here, I can't wait for my pecans to start growing back. I'm planting some peach trees next to them so they can hang over the fence. And when you walk by, you look up and say, oh my God, is that a peach? Yes, Lord, it is. Pick one. That's why they hanging over. I put those ones there to hang just for you. So you can walk past home and pick a peach. Like, I don't see what's wrong with that.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, people gonna pick your peaches? Well, if they can reach the peaches that's hanging over the fence and the city ain't told me I got to cut that branch because them peaches hanging on the fence, then they can have those peaches that's hanging on the fence.
Yeah.
You got to come walk up here for the rest of the peaches and ask me. And you got to ask me because my husband got a gun in a gun line. And so it's private property, but we are open to the public and we will serve you these peaches, plums, persimmons, and all the things that we're planting out here in these streets.
All right, so your bio states that you are a community-centered agriculturalist. What does that mean? What is a community-centered agriculturalist?
What I just explained. My peach trees hang over the fence.
All right, someone be willing to share, huh?
Oh, it means that I'm open to sharing the love because I mean, that's why I say I grow things. That's why I say I grow things where I can create my own value products.
Okay.
Right. Because no one can necessarily do too much with just like lettuce on the street. But when it's hot in Austin, Texas, and you walking down the street in these hoods and you see somebody with some fresh tomatoes, it's just tomato juice, but it's gonna be so good. It's just gonna be so
okay.
And but you sitting there like, cause you're like, yeah, I don't know, my lips, I'm dehydrated. You see the man in the oasis in the desert, you bring them an apple or something to it's the juice inside of the thing that helps you to revitalize yourself. And so I hand people cucumbers all the time and they just walk off biting them like it's nothing. And I just be like, people eating them cucumbers like that. Wow. And I'll be like, it's the love. It's the love. And they come and be like, them things were so good. And I'll be like, let me grow some more.
Right.
Because you never know. And I just give them away. But then I do have people that come in and be like, yeah, you can pick it. You pick, and you give me $20 if you want to. Right. You walk around. I talk because I like to talk. So they be talking and pick it. I just tell them, please don't step in the middle because I got to fix that when you leave. Mm-hmm. But, they pick them what they need for the week or the month. And, they done had the greatest experience in life. Yeah. That's what community agriculture is, because I don't grow everything. So on a Thursday, I gotta put my bonnet on and get my basket, and I gotta come over there to Brother Tamani's house, and I gotta be, he gonna be hospitable and open up his home because he got lemons, and he know ain't nobody on the block growing lemons like him. That's right. So I gotta, and that's how community agriculture in my mind and our Black farming communities coming out of 1865 and going into what we believe to be freedom look like, because we couldn't go nowhere. We couldn't go to that grocery store. And my quarter acre to what I have can't sustain everybody. Right. So, that's why somebody can have 500 acres and somebody live on 20, somebody live on 50, and that's a free men's town. That's a town. That's a town. Yeah. 400 acres. Yeah. Mine is only a quarter, but I can feed the people in a 5 mile, 10 mile radius from my farm with just my 2 acres. Right. Okay. So imagine you have 50.
How many could you feed with that?
Yeah.
So is that so tell me why well, I think I already know, but why do you believe so strongly in community farming? Why is that such a passion for you, community farming? Because it's very important for us moving forward. And I want to know what your position on that is. Why community farming?
Because it brings us back to the table, because it brings us back to the conversation. To me, community is farming is family and it's food and it's at the table because it's coming out of the field, right? It's harvest season. We are harvesting. What we gonna do with it? We about to have a party. We about to celebrate and be grateful and praise. And we about to cook. We about to put your lemons in the lemonade. We about to put my lettuce and some meat from up there on a wrap. Like, I mean, we about to potluck, and we're gonna come to a central place, and we're going to be at the table as family with this food that all of us have partaken in growing to feed ourselves. And when we leave this place, we are all still gonna have those things, and it's all still gonna be the same, because I still need to go get some butter because I gotta make this cake.
Yeah.
And I gotta go get some flour from over there. But somebody I know growed it, the wheat, and churned it down. And then I sent, because my daughter can't stand growing vegetables. She want to go up to Miss Sue's house and learn how to churn and butter and milk those cows. So now I gotta send my baby to go apprentice up the street at Miss Sue's house, and she been needing the help because them other girls left. They went, got married, and now they doing it on their own on their quarter acre. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't understand. I just don't understand how it all just, nobody gets it. But it's because of the distractions. It's the mass distractions. It's the destruction.
Yep.
It was the displacement. It was the taking the men away from the home. It was the terrorizing.
Yeah.
Like you terrorize communities, Rosewood. You terrorize people.
Yeah.
You make them so afraid of something that they naturally have done since the time they were put here to do it.
And then you attach public policy to it that backs you up. So and then you do all of that stuff simultaneously, consistently, back to back. So you understand how it happened, because they did it systematically on purpose. And that is how we went from, as you said earlier, from having millions of Black farmers to a very, very, very small amount compared to where we came from. And that's a perfect segue to the next question, because your bio also states, quote, after experiencing the oppression of today's policies and laws that have eliminated Black access to healthy foods, Ms. Washington has spearheaded a fight to see direct funding for Black farmers in Austin, Texas. So tell us more about your experience with that oppression. How did you come to learn about that, and how did you spearhead that fight?
Well, first of all, I was the only one in the room.
Okay.
This is not even how this is supposed to work. So we got to shut this whole entire process down. It ain't nobody else Black up in here. I don't know what y'all been talking about while I wasn't here. I could have been all kind of things. But now that I'm here, y'all surely is a little soft timid in this room. Everybody,
what room are you talking about?
Little side eye, the agriculture room.
Okay.
When you say what made me realize I was oppressed, it was when I stepped into the local agricultural scene, the local agricultural department, because we're talking about local government.
Yep.
When I stepped into my local agricultural department, and all the farmers, the food policiers, the participators in production, in the food system, how it's produced, distributed, how it's produced, handled, distributed, and recovered. Yeah. Promoted, marketed, advertised, and recovered. That's the food system. Okay. When I stepped in a room where they was talking about my local food system, it was nobody in that room Black like me. I had a problem with that, because the people that were in the room that I identified with being Black like me was talking like them. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, y'all are trying to kill me. Y'all trying to kill me, my kids.
So there were other Black people there. Their mindset just wasn't like yours.
No, yeah.
Okay.
But when I'm talking, that's there in the food system. But when you in the room as a farmer, and because you separate, like, that's why I say it's levels. And so when you split up the food system and you go down to the production level and you talk about farmers in Austin, Texas, Travis County, I was the only one. But when you look outside in the rural areas or like somewhere off, you have Black farmers, you know, they come to the Austin Farmers Market, but then they leave and go back out of the city.
Okay.
And I didn't understand why that was when it was 10 urban farms in my community. Why urban farms? And I'm walking around on 5-acre farms in my neighborhood that the lady said they've been there for 150 years.
Okay.
I was like, 150 years. So I was like, so this is a plantation? And she was like, no, it used to be. It used to be. No, it still is. Like, what? But her family had just been farming on it for 30 years. But it's always been in the form of a plantation. Someone has always grown food on it.
And these are Black people or white people?
These are white people. That's why I say when I came into farming and I was looking at the farmers farming this land,
okay,
they were saying they were all white. They was all white, but they're farming on land that was a plantation.
Gotcha.
And then so I was like, it was like, it's domestic violence. How did locally Austin have slave owners? You're farming on a plantation, literal land where this person, I can look him up in the census and find the census document where his name is on it and how many slaves he owned is on it at this address. And you're telling me it used to be, but now today while you farming on it, it's not. Whose mama and daddy was enslaved farming on this property, ma'am? Because you need to go find them because they somewhere. Yeah, you need to go find them and give them their stuff back.
Yeah, well, that ain't gonna happen.
Right. Yeah. But it's the point. And that's where I said I spearheaded, because now I didn't start telling y'all gotta pay me, because somewhere in Austin, Texas, y'all is squatting on my property because my mama and them was out, grandma and them was over here growing this food, and now all of a sudden y'all the white people in the neighborhood growing the food for the local food system. Okay. When that wasn't happening. Is urban slavery in the Southwest. So what? So okay,
so before we get to the next question, there's a delay in your words and your mouth moving. So I want you to disconnect and then reconnect. Maybe that'll fix this lag.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
All right. My recording. All right. So your perspective is that white people are currently now today farming on land that was once farmed by Black people.
Yes.
Right. But the white people own that land, right?
Do they?
I'm saying, is that your perspective? You don't know who owns it, or are they not supposed to own it? What's your perspective on that?
I think that through policies and procedures, they've taken claim to something that ain't theirs.
Oh, okay. Now how do you go about, because that's my next question. How do you go about proving that?
Through history, through documented history.
Okay.
Through the documents, it's the receipts.
Okay.
Through law, through the laws.
And
I live in Texas.
Okay.
First of all, I shouldn't even be here because I live in Texas where the Mexicans told European colonizers, don't bring them American Negro slaves here with you.
That's right.
So I'm a prisoner of war.
Okay.
So I feel like I feel like y'all got to give me something.
Yeah.
You got to give me what I was working, especially if when in policies and procedures, I look around like this because I'm looking for my book. but I relocated to upstairs. We got a big green binder of all the City of Austin's policies and procedures for the Food Policy Board, land ordinances. We should use our local government websites like austintexas.gov, houston.texas.gov to find these municipal codes and what is in our city's municipal code about food.
So this is your angle on the reparations fight. You're saying that things have been done to us, things have been done against us, and as a result of that, which can be proven, y'all owe me something.
Yeah.
Okay. And that goes to the next question. Your bio also states local governments have the funding to pay Black farmers to rebuild communities that they have been left behind by liberal agenda. So I know why you think that Black farmers haven't been paid, but how do you think that can be changed? By continuing to do the research and then taking that to the powers that be and saying the proof is here? How do you go about getting them to pay what's owed?
That and demanding that it be paid. I mean, I shouldn't be the only person saying that. I wouldn't grow as a Black, listen, all the white farmers dying. So as a Black farmer, I'm not growing who finna grow the food?
Right.
All of they kids are saying they don't want the land no more.
Yeah.
They're saying I'm sorry, but it's the truth. They on opioids.
Yeah.
They out here.
Yeah.
But they tell us we on opioids.
Right. But that's an opportunity for us. If they say they don't want the land, nobody's making any new land. That's an opportunity for us to scoop it up and then start growing our own stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you know how it's so expensive?
Yeah.
The cost of farming and agriculture, that costs money.
Yeah.
I can have the land all day, but I need the funding, the funds to get a tractor. I need a harvester. I need the
but if your focus is community gardening, then do you need a tractor? Because you're not talking about a lot of land, right?
I mean, yeah, I plan on moving. I got 4 kids. I can't live on a 1/4 acre all my life.
Oh,
I gotta move.
Okay.
I
didn't know that was part of the future plan.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I didn't know.
Money.
I'm learning.
We're moving on up.
Okay.
We're gonna go get 20 acres that can support this part and the other ones that we get, because you're supposed to spread. You know how it's a franchise.
Yeah.
You know how you got a McDonald's over there and over there. So you have a Diamond Cob over there and over there.
Yeah.
But you need a place to sustain that, right?
Yeah.
So I need to get me I need my 80 acres. See, the City of Austin says 80 acres. Now, if the federal government of the United States wants to give me my 40 in a mural, that's cool. But I'm gonna need my 80 from the City of Austin because my family been here for 200 years.
Okay.
So,
so what is the plan? Because we know, and it's easy to prove, hell, you just did it, that stuff is old. We know that.
Right.
But it's going to be a process to get that to be given in whatever capacity.
Right.
So what is the plan to secure the land that we need to grow the food that we need until we can get what's owed to us? So what is the plan to keep this thing moving? Because we still got to eat in the interim.
Well, right now the plan to make that happen is y'all need to go outside and share the earth. Y'all need to go find somebody that's willing to share their earth, their backyard, their front yard, their side yard.
There you go.
Same way I went and the lady said, I would love to have somebody farm my yard. Ma'am, it's vacant. I ain't got no money, but I can work. Sweat equity.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So once we got that down, and you're gonna pay your farm rent just like you pay your rent for your shelter, because your farm rent is your food money. So you need to be paying that. And so when we get there and we can be able to build from the economic increase that we get from being able to even have something to sell that's not drugs,
right,
sex or something else that's not valuable to our communities, our minds, our hearts, our bodies, none of that. When we can be able to have this produce, or I don't care if you go get a chicken and put it on your lot. The cities be saying they want you to put chickens in the neighborhood.
yeah,
Go to your cities, revitalization plans. What is the city talking about for your climate? The city's got plans for composting, you get rebates and electricity reductions and all this different stuff that the city of Austin got. Imagine Austin.
mm-hmm.
And it's Reimagine Austin, and it's about community agriculture and beautified spaces with native pollinators and habitats. Who is putting this stuff up?
Yeah.
Who's doing this? Who's revitalizing the neighborhood? The developers. What?
Okay.
Some random developer is gonna come develop the agri-hood. They calling them agri-hoods, y'all. Come on, they calling them agri-hoods.
Probably not. Probably not. So let me ask you this, Brother Chevis, he raised about your knowledge and understanding of the history of Black farmers, or Black farming in Austin. So you just talked about how we have been used for such a long period of time, and how we used to own and grow our own food that was stolen by us in a number of ways.
Yeah, we used to fish. We had fish markets. We had meat markets. We used to fish. We used to hunt. A Black man
in
had
Austin or in Texas?
In Austin,
okay.
In Texas, all over the place.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is do you, since that stuff, we used to own it, we used to control it, we used to do it, but we're no longer doing it for a lot of reasons. Do you see food security or food sovereignty as the greatest need we have as a people in this country? Is it the access to the food that we can own and control? Do you see that as the greatest threat, or is it something else?
I see it as the access to the land, because we can't husbandry, we can't participate in husbandry, we can't raise our livestock without land. Yeah. We can't grow nothing without the access to the land. We can't do the chickens unless we got the land. We can't do nothing without the access to the land. Even if, like you say, I don't got no big tractor. I gotta walk behind two-wheel tractor that's really, really heavy. Yeah. So even if I'm out here doing it with just my hands and some hand tools, I still can't do that unless I got some land. Right. So I feel like, what are those basic, simple, very simple things that are necessary, right, for our sustainability and our survival? Is land, because you gotta have a place to pitch your tent, to put the shelter up. Yep. And then you need your access to water. That's number 2. So it's land, my access to water. What do we know as Black people? What do we know about water rights? Look at Flint. Yeah. I'm hot. Like, I get nervous because I just thought about, I'm thinking about this right as I'm talking to you. Yeah. As you asked me this question, because I've been like, when you called me, I told you I was studying, I was researching, you know what I'm saying? So I have been studying, and so what I've started studying was like, dang, man, my water bill high. Oh, water bill so high. It's like $700. It's just too high. But I gotta use my water. I own a farm. I'm farming. I'm using city water. I don't have no well. I didn't dig a well. You know, it's not raining, and I'm in Texas. It's hot. So is land, our access to water, our water rights. Okay. You know, when we think about our access to water, I'm not talking about like turning on the faucet and, you know, like what rivers or creeks can we get to, or like the things that be flooding? So land, water, and then our food. But that food includes growing a vineyard. It's like, what was the first thing, Noah was supposed to do after the floods receded and he came out the boat? He was supposed to grow a vineyard, pick the grapes, make the wine, and get drunk.
Okay.
That's what he was told to do.
Okay, I can.
He came back down on land, built a shelter, found water, had to have found the water, and it takes time, Brother Tamati, to plant a vineyard.
Sure. Yeah.
Harvest the grapes.
Yeah.
Make the wine, then get drunk.
After all that work. So tell me, give me your long-term vision and how long you give yourself to accomplish that vision for your farm. How do you want this thing to look when you say, okay, I did it? What will it look like?
Man, so that's, to me, is going to look like, it'll look like a real live food hub that encompasses a museum that teaches agricultural genealogy, what that means, what that is, which is the history of Black agriculture specific to Travis County, Austin, Texas. A library that has information on agriculture, growing food, Black biographies on people that we know were a part of Black agriculture, teaching space to teach the kids in a 20-acre farm. I want all of this to be on about 20 acres.
Okay.
Where the kids can do hands-on learning. I'll have a greenhouse nursery where they can learn greenhouse management and production, the processes of seeding, caring for, and then actually transplanting. I want to have a space for like horses and cattle so they can learn education in husbandry, and then a crossover into the high schools for 4-H programming, so that they can present they prized animals, the things that they've raised and the skills that they've learned in sustainable living. And yeah. Okay. Texas, I'm like a Black cowgirl on my insides, but I don't ride no horses. I don't know why. It bothers me.
Okay, so have you thought about, and I don't know if you have, but of course I'm in Houston, you're in Austin, we're about 2.5, 3 hours away from each other. I am coming into contact with Black people who have land, a lot of land. Have you thought about how what you are doing there can be duplicated here, because it's going to have to be duplicated here in order for us to make this thing work? So have you given any thought to how you're going to make that happen if you win the election? Or even if you're part of the cabinet, which you're going to be anyway, how are we going to make that happen to duplicate what you're doing there here?
I think the first thing that we would need to do is to start to look at the local food policies for your specific areas. So what does Houston's food policy look like? What was said at the last food policy board meeting about local food production? Is the city of Houston, or is wherever, are they pushing agriculture as a community garden space opportunity where people are volunteering their time and there's no economic equity or growth for families to generate wealth? Like, they better stop. They got to come on with it. Because we need these things, right? So we have to start there. So that would be one of the things that I would like to do, is to start to get people to look at that. And then from there, they can look at what it takes to implement or find shared earth. Because we have like a urban farm policies, right? So we have, an urban farm ordinance. I don't host events on my property, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or anything, and I don't sell from my property. So right now I don't have to necessarily get a urban farm certification from the city.
Okay.
I grow food, we throw it in the trunk, and I can walk right across the street and pop a tent and pop up. And just like
Yeah.
I go pop up next to the Mexican men selling their watermelons. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have to just like popping the trunk and selling the t-shirts and the CDs. You pop trunks, sell the veg.
Sell the fruits and vegetables, yeah. And as a matter of fact, that's a good point, because that is something that I want our youth program to get involved in multiple locations around the city. So I would definitely, Tiffany, we would definitely be making trips to Austin to take what you have, a portion of what you have, bring it back to Houston, start selling it. But of course, we want to make sure, we want to get to the point where we don't have to do that, because we're doing the same thing here in Houston.
Right. So, and you know, and then that's why I say the city has land for that, right? The city has, but what the city doesn't allow us to make money personally from city land.
Okay.
Right. So the city has land that we can use in a community garden sense. And this is where we focus our energy on our elderly and our babies.
Okay.
That's where they learn to grow. That's where they learn to grow.
Oh, so we use the city land to learn and our own private land to make the money.
Exactly. You have to use city.
I like that.
We get in here and we take over the city, because they pushing these initiatives. They want city agriculture. They trying to put 5, 6, 8 acres into production through the city. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, you need to take Black-led agricultural programs and give them the land so that they can produce food and farmers.
Yeah. Okay. So what is the likelihood, because you know racism is a thing, what is the likelihood of them giving Black people or a Black group land to do anything? Have you already done that? Are you just thinking, you're saying they need to do it because they need to do a lot? That don't mean they're going to.
Yeah. We have to be able to compete.
Yeah.
And that's where it comes a time when you have to be able to have your information ready, and you have to be on the balls and you got to compete with the organizations that's taking the money and not doing nothing with it anyway. So it shouldn't be very difficult. Yeah.
And fortunately for us, if we have that kind of, what you just said, if we know that, then competing is not a big deal because they're not doing anything anyway. But so many of us have the perspective that white people are all that. You can't compete because they have it all together. And more often than not, they don't. They just got the connections and the relationships. But that can be worked on, especially as we get more politically active. So I love that answer and that thinking. Next question. Do you think Black people have the capacity to replace the current agricultural system in America, or create an equivalent system so we can feed ourselves? My idea is to create a closed loop agricultural ecosystem that we can control to move food from the Black farmer's farm to the Black family's plate. Do you think we have the capacity to create that kind of system?
Yeah. I talk about it on a regular basis. I got this, golly, I'm sorry, y'all. My office is everywhere. It's downstairs, obviously. Apparently, it's not in my office. So, but I have the Green Book. Okay. I don't know, you know what the Green Book is, right?
I do not.
So look this up. The Green Book is a small book that was written by Mr. Robert Greene, I think this is his name, but it was a travel guide.
Oh yeah, you're talking about historically the Green Book.
The historical Green Book.
I know what that is. Yeah. There was a movie about it actually.
Yeah. So in the Green Book, it has all the places that we were able to travel for room and board. Come on, y'all. shelter, water, and food.
Okay.
All the places that we could travel for those things as we travel through the United States. If you look in the Green Book, a lot of the places, look up farms. A lot of the places that were in the Green Book were on farms.
Sure.
Or it was a farm.
Yeah.
And so if you think back to like the Chitlin circuit and stuff like that, a lot of those clubs and stuff were on the back part of a farm. You would have to drive up and then you park your car. Even if you watch it in the movies, like on Eve's Bayou, when they was going, they would park, and then it was like the big land. That was the farm, all of that land they had, but they had the little spot where they was jigging and jiving in the shack over there, and it was protected. It was men at the gate with guns. The women, children was somewhere. The women was cooking, and everybody was hanging out in the chitlin coop. Hanging out. So when you look at that and then you revert that to how do we create a food system, that's how. It's a collection of farms and farmers, because when you come to my farm, I promise you're gonna leave and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna miss them kids, because her kids is it for me. It's the kids. Because people just enjoy the hospitality, the camaraderie. It's just a nice time. And so it's the tourism, and I don't want to call it tourism, but it's like the experience of being with a family member you ain't seen in a long time, and then you just go visit them for the weekend and you leave. Like that's what I feel like my farm is. When people come and they visit me and then they leave, they literally be trying to come back, and I be like, y'all, this my house. What I told you was going down over here. What I tell you was going down, I was like, this, I gotta live here. Y'all gotta go home. So in being able to set up these farms and these urban farms, or even just at a regular farm, but setting up places of production, places of food production for us, and then having truckers, people who are involved in the transportation sector, come and bring us this. If we need fertilizers, they're able to bring those things between farms and between places, and we can ship the food from here to Austin to Houston, or Austin to Fort Worth, and just all of these. We're able to create something that looks and feels like us. Comfort food. That's comfort food. It's like, this is it, you know. So I do believe that we are able to do that once we can start to identify producers and growers who are really about growing and producing for the people in the community. Because I mean, it's so trendy, you know what I'm saying? It's really on set, it's really on trend. Hobby farming. I got a book called Hobby Farming, and I was insulted. I was like, how dare y'all be out here hobby farming on plantations? What?
Because they can.
That's so disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people have taken the white people's food movement and tried to push it to us as a food movement. Oh, we have to grow food, we have to be black while farming. But y'all ain't really talking about the war. This was a war that's being waged against me and my food. Like, what? It's cute, it sounds good to get funding and dollars and stuff like that for programs, but we trying to build up people and
survive.
So I get angry. I did go to like South by Southwest. I had an opportunity to go to South by Southwest and have this conversation that I'm having with you. But as I'm sitting there and I'm hearing what they're saying, I'm realizing I didn't come here to pander to white people. I didn't come here to be nice and be light. I came here to let y'all know y'all ain't finna starve my kids to death. Not at all, not mine. And
Mhm.
you're not gonna start my mama, my grandma, nobody that I know. Matter of fact, everybody within a 10-mile radius of my farm, y'all good because we own, because they finna pay me. Like they was like, they gonna pay you. I was
Okay,
like,
okay,
I
wait,
don't
wait,
know.
wait. So you just said a very, very powerful thing, and I want to make sure I understand it because farming is not my wheelhouse. So if you win this thing, then you're going to be leading this effort. You just said everyone within a 10-mile radius. You said 10 miles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are good. So to me, that means that what you're saying is that I can grow enough food on this 1/4 acre of land to feed a 10-mile radius of people. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, okay. So that means wonderful, wonderful Black woman. That means that I'm asking this as I'm saying it. That means that Sister Tiffany is saying that for every 1/4 acre of land that she has access to and or control over, she can feed people, Black people within a 10-mile radius. Okay, amen. I think that's awesome. Okay, because when we get to the end, I got a series of about 4 questions that I have to ask per the election, but I'm asking them for a very specific reason because it's the reality. How much time you got left?
I got time. I just had to go get my laptop charger.
Okay, so you need me to wait, right?
No, the baby finna go get it for me. I got time.
Okay, so is your perspective of the national agriculture farming picture per the Black farmer, is it the same as the local picture? Like nationally, we're struggling just as much as we are locally, agriculturally? Would you say that?
Yes, nationally, are we struggling the same way we are locally?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that is because of public policy and the U.S. government not doing right by the Black farmer, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Like yes, you can. I mean, you can see it with the thing that we're having. Thank you. That we're having right now for hold on one second. Thank you, daughter.
Thank you, daughter. Hey, what's happening?
She gotta show chilling with my mama. Okay,
I'm chilling with your mama too.
She's a babe. They because I do a lot of YouTube stuff. Oh, and so every time they see the camera on, they think it's time for the YouTube.
It's time to shine. I see that there are people persons. That's a good thing.
Yes, they are people persons. Yeah. So ask me that again. The national is it as important nationally as it is local?
Well, it's important, but would you say it's the same? The national farmers are in the same predicament as the local farmers in that we're not getting the support that we need from the national government, if you will.
Yes, look at Mr. John Boyd. He's the head of the National Black Farmers Association.
Right. Is that the brother that's always wearing the
hat.
Cowboy hat? Yeah.
Yeah. And so even him on that level, this is something that they've been doing, like the Pigford Act or lawsuit. Like you can look at that and see, and then so that's why I say how it's only 45, according to the United States Department of Agriculture, there are only 45,000. I made sure I took the census in 2020. I made sure I got on the census list and I put occupation farmer.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be counted because it's only 45,000 Black farmers out of 3 million, over 3 million.
Yeah.
That's not even, I don't even know if that's 1%. I don't even know what that is, but it's not enough. Yeah. It's absolutely nothing. So that told me I had to ask who else is farming. Mm-hmm. We know that 95% of that is white. Right.
And again, all of that is strategic and on purpose. So my next question is it your belief that urban gardening and farming can move the Black community forward toward food security for our people? Urban gardening and urban farming can be enough to sustain Black people as it relates to food moving forward. Is that your position?
I believe yes.
Okay.
It is the start. It is where we need to be because we not nowhere close.
Right.
We don't even see agriculture as a business. We don't even see growing food as a business in our communities.
Right. And it can be because like we said in the beginning, you got to eat.
You gotta eat.
You gotta eat. And somebody is growing that food that you're eating. So what would you say, Sister Tiffany? What do you think the greatest enemy or threat is to us doing that? Utilizing space in the communities where we live to grow our own food to sustain ourselves. What do you say the greatest enemy or threat to that becoming a reality is?
Oh man, I got a list. Okay.
Just give me your top 2 or 3.
Number one is ourselves.
Oh,
it's the knowledge. We're not seeking the knowledge. I had a cousin come over the other day, yesterday, and he was telling me he told his friends about hold on. Sorry, he know I'm in here. He just gonna be sitting by the door screaming and crying like that. God, these kids, they think they slick. They know.
They know what they're doing.
They daddy downstairs. They all right. But no, he was telling me that he told his homeboys, my cousin grow her own food because they was talking about the food shortage. Mm-hmm. And his homeboys' reply was, man, we don't got time for all that. Man, it's a food shortage. Why would you tell him that you don't have time to grow the food? They're not even
thinking about what they're saying. Because if there's a food shortage and you can grow food, maybe there won't be a shortage.
And why won't you don't have time for that? So the first one is us. And then I would say that the second is the funding. Okay. And I will argue with anybody about this when it comes to the funding, because the funding is going towards grassroots initiatives that ain't doing nothing. Black ones, white ones, Asian ones, all of them. They all need to be scrapped and thrown in the trash, because there's no reason that for 30 years we should be in this condition if y'all have gone through so much money. In just 1 year, I with my own eyes watched local Black leadership go through at least $6 million. 6 million. Wow. And I don't know what they did with it. The bathrooms at the park is still broke. Porta potties ain't clean. I don't know what they did with it. And it was more payroll. It was a natural. We went through Winter Storm Uri, Texas. Come on, it don't snow in Texas. Yeah. Our grids was down. Here we go. This is a disaster. And I said I will stand on when they are ready to put a monkey wrench in the progress and the process. We find ourselves in situations where we have to prove that we are capable and efficient enough to survive catastrophe, natural disaster, something like that. Winter Storm Uri came through Austin, Texas. These Black people that were in leadership didn't know what to do. And the city gave them the money for disaster relief.
Right.
They gave the money to food trucks, soul food restaurants, people that they knew, that they liked. Right. They kept it within their little gatekeeping circles. Yep. We was dying. That was the National Guard came here. That was a real life emergency natural disaster. And the people got the money and didn't do nothing. They was on Facebook talking about we just pushed out $400,000 to the community. Ain't nobody called no Black farmers to grow no food.
Right.
But y'all was, and I said that too. Whichever orgs was out here feeding the village need to run me my check. Yeah. Because where did y'all get all this food from that y'all saved us with?
Yeah. Okay. I only got about 6 questions left, and I got to be done like in 20 minutes because I got another interview presentation. Okay. So next question. So speaking of well, I take that back. Quick question, because you've talked about funding a lot, and I don't know anything about farming. So how much do you think you require per funding to do everything you need to do on your quarter acre of land? How much money approximately would you need to make sure you can do what you need to do on your quarter acre?
I think that I would need about, I'll say $400,000.
$400,000 for your quarter acre for the year?
For what? I live on 2 acres. I'm expanding my quarter acre because my quarter acre was just what I could grow on because I didn't live here. Okay. But now that we live here, we've been expanding. So we purchased fruit trees. Okay. So now I have like 7 or 8 fruit trees. So in order to expand my farm and put all the proper nutrients into the ground, put everything we need here, make sure all the bills are paid, secure access to the land. And that's the reason I say 400 is because the first thing that I have to do when I get funded, a large sum of funding, is secure this property because I don't own it. Right. So I need to buy her out. Okay. Right. So I need to come with something to buy her out. And it'll be easier for me if I'm able to do some type of owner financing. Sure. And the only way I can do something like that is if I come with hard money. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. So if I can put $250,000 down and be like, she gonna know I'm for real. So see you later. Gotcha. It's me. Gotcha. So and then after that is all operation, labor, salaries, gas, machinery, fertilizer, everything is going up. So is it safe to say, based on what you just said, that a quarter acre of land that Sister Tiffany is managing, she can do what she needs to do with $250,000 per quarter acre? Yep. Okay, cool. Next question. Speaking of enemies and threats, you know as well as I do that when it comes to us doing anything to move ourselves forward, there's always going to be efforts, and you talked about them throughout the whole conversation, to target what we try to do for destruction. Anything we do, it's not a matter of if it's going to be targeted for destruction, but when and how. So my question to you, Sister Tiffany, how can we build our own agricultural systems and protect them before, during, and after? I know. We have to be very honest in our goals. Yeah. So that nobody is misinformed and feels as if they need to try to interfere or try to do things to make the thing fall apart. Right. You know what I'm saying? Being transparent, being able to just have it's the conversations. And so we need to have the knowledge. We need to educate ourselves. It's all about learning, staying in a constant state of learning. I feel like allows you to always be prepared for those things that are coming at you. If I'm not always learning how to start a fire, when it's time for me to start a fire, I'm not gonna know. I'm gonna freeze. Right. If LeBron James ain't always learning how to dribble, because that's right. He learning every time he dribble, he's learning himself to dribble the ball. You got to practice. So we have to practice. It has to be a practice, a constant practice. So yeah. Have you thought about growing indoors and or underground? Seriously. Yes, very seriously. So I have, I can't even tell you all this stuff. I have. Wait. If it's a security thing, no, listen, because we don't talk about everything. No, I'm serious. We do not talk about everything online. Seriously. I'm in Houston, you're in Austin. I will get to you soon. So if that's a conversation that we need to have offline, girl, I get it. No,
so yes,
it's not.
yes or no. Have you thought about growing indoors and underground? Yes or no?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
good. Amen. Next question. I get it. On Saturday, April 30th, the Black Gold Nation is going to launch what we're calling the CARE Alliance, Community Action Results Empowerment. The CARE Alliance is used to, we're going to use that to bring together our financial, intellectual, and land resources to help move the community forward. A big part of that, of course, will be the establishment, well, not of course, but a big part of that is what we're calling Black Gold zip code captains. We want to train Black people to research and understand everything that's going on in a particular zip code. The vacant land, the unused buildings, where the elderly live, how many youth do we have, where are the businesses and who owns them? We got to know every single thing we can about what's going on in that zip code. And of course, a big part of that is the land. So, question, if you were to win the election and you become the National Community Agriculture Development Division Director, that would be your title. What would you do? And this is a very serious question. I'm asking for a very specific reason. And these are those questions I told you about earlier. What would you do, Sister Tiffany Washington, with 10, 15, or 20 acres of available land and multiple zip codes to start growing food?
Oh, just exactly what I just said I was gonna do. I would first teach it. You gotta put in something to develop the knowledge. And so for me, in developing the knowledge, you have to heal the pain and the associated trauma for agriculture and Black people. And we can only do that through real history. So by teaching agricultural genealogy, the history of agriculture, the history of the farming family, we can break those shackles. We can remember that our families were rooted in agricultural traditions.
That's right.
So you don't have to be traumatized.
Anti-farming. Yeah, this your people.
Yes, you don't have this your thing. Reclaim your thing. Reclaim it. You don't have to be that way. So that's the first thing. So building a foundation for that, and at the same time teaching the proper steps in agriculture. We have a curriculum, so we want to build out our curriculum. We want to implement our curriculum.
You have that curriculum now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
So we want to implement the curriculums. We want to get the kids farming. We want to get the kids connected with our elderly so that they're farming. We want to get those lessons inside of our community gardens, and so that us able-bodied, strong people can get to agriculture, get to building the food system, get to building the transportation and getting all that in. And while we focused on pulling in the funding, the babies and the grandmamas and the pawpaws is over here making sure everything good.
Got it. Okay. So along with that, Sister Tiffany, we've had some very, very, very awesome Black people who have stepped up. Like I told you, I'm meeting people all over the place who are stepping up, making things available. We have Black people who have said to us that they have land in Houston and in Shreveport, Louisiana. And at this point, Tiffany, we have waiting for us to start using over 100 acres. Literally, we got 58 in Houston and 44 in Shreveport. Now, I know that we're not ready to start planning on all of that. But the question is, what will be your strategy? And it might be the same as you just said, which would make sense. What will be your strategy to start using that land, starting in Houston, and that's closest? I'm assuming you're closer to Houston than you are to Shreveport, right? Yeah. So starting with Houston, huh?
Yeah, I'm only like 2.5, 3 hours.
2.5, 3 hours. Yeah. So what would be your strategy to start using that land in Houston slowly but surely to grow out and continue to do more? How would you approach that? Because that is a reality that we're going to start talking about soon, like in the next week or so.
We would definitely get together and plan the season, right? Crop planning.
Oh, okay.
It's the beginning of the season. Right now will be too late, but it's the perfect time for planning.
Okay.
So we would come together, have some type of crop planning or like food grocer, like a merchandiser planning session where we're looking at what are we going to grow, what's in season, you know, are we gonna use 5 acres of greenhouse space so that we can grow certain things year round? Are we going to use, in addition to that, have 5 acres of outdoor space going at the same time?
Okay.
You know, so in design, what that would look like if we have 40 acres, we would need to get that designed out, have somebody draw out the 40, what's gonna go here, what's gonna go there. If we want to hyper, knock that down and we trying to get started now, we just focus on the crop planning for the next season.
Okay.
If we gonna say make it easy, we're gonna use 5 acres. That's my husband.
What's happening, husband?
5 acres.
What's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
I'm Dad. What's good with you,
I'm
man?
Tiffany, all right.
All right, yeah. See, I'm delivering the check.
Do your thing, brother. Do your thing.
12 bags. Yeah. All right.
I can dig it.
All right. He's so hood.
Hey, I love the brothers. I love the brothers. I'm always rooting for the brothers. I don't give a damn.
And so my husband is originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. So he was transplanted here from Hurricane Katrina. So he's been here since he was 15.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that would be my look at it. We would look at the 5 acres. We would say, okay, from there, what's our 10-mile radius, right? Who is in direct need of being served, and what nutritional value do we want to bring them from the growth space? So that's how we plan what we're gonna grow. Then we get started. We start prepping the soil, get everything we need, infrastructure and everything, and then we can start production. And then while we're in production, we go out into the communities, we do the outreach, we go talk to the kids, we bring in the parents, we get people excited about coming and picking their own food. Or we get people excited about being or partaking in the first harvest of the season. We have those events of value where we do food, farm to fork, like you said, but they have to see it.
Yeah.
So that's
to know that it's real. Yeah.
To know that it's real. So that's why you open up the space with the event. That's community building. It don't have to be a party, social gatherings, all the extra stuff. It's just a conversation, family and food at the table.
Yep.
So that's what I would.
And we make it a party with a damn purpose.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
So next question, and I'm sorry, I got to rush through this because I got to be ready by 1:30. So the Black Owned National Leadership Election is the last weekend in June, Friday to Sunday. Ideally, you're going to have 5 to 7 people, if you win the election, who make up your cabinet, and who speak your language as relates to agriculture, growing food. So what would be your initial marching orders for your new cabinet members? What would you say to them as far as the first 1, 2, 3 steps that y'all need to do so we can get this thing going?
So my first one would be, we need to find out where they keeping the money.
Right, where the money at? I got you. Okay.
So we need to go out here and look and see where we can put ourselves in a position to receive some of these dollars to start building.
That's right.
In agriculture. And then next, we need to start looking for access to land that we can use for development. So city land development, land codes, proper zoning. We need to learn about that. That's my second thing. And then the third thing is to just go out, tell the people we finna eat, we finna get we gotta go out and we gotta talk to people, bring in the community, let them know what we all about, what we doing, and just I like sitting on the porch talking to old ladies.
Yeah.
And the old ladies don't care how many times you come back to their house and talk about the same thing.
That's right.
You came over.
Yeah.
So if I come over and she be like, baby, you got some of them peas? I don't got those peas yet, but let me tell you this story about the peas. Yesterday, I burned the peas. I applied too much fertilizer.
Okay. I think based on what you just said, I think I know the answer to this next question, but I got to ask anyway. So going into 2023, your cabinet makes up 5 to 7 people who all speak your language. But after our elections is in June, our inauguration, everybody comes together, is in Houston. That's in October. In 2023, moving forward, you will have 15 to 20 teams of Black people going to different cities who say, I want to be over agriculture for my team in my city. Detroit, Atlanta, Shreveport, wherever, 15 to 20 teams. And that's a low number. So will your marching orders for that local team be the same as your national cabinet, or will you have them do something different since they're going to be on the ground in the community? 15 to 20 teams.
No, they need to go and find that Black farmer in the community that's already out here doing it and plug in, and they need to tap in. Because I have a lot of strong-minded Black friends that are doing these things on a national level out there. And so being able to have people that can go out and kind of support me in that aspect and meet with them and pull that information and build with them would be an amazing opportunity. So that would be my first marching order, would be to go and meet and build a rapport, build a relationship within these communities. You know, what are they doing that maybe we can add or, you know, support here where we are, you know, to grow and flourish at the same time. Because that's what we want to do. We want to be able to build these systems, and that's the only way we're gonna be able to build them.
Yeah, and you can't have a system without a network. Right.
And if we stop pandering and we stop trying to collect all the resources for our own selves and then try to divvy them out to people, like we want to collect have the abundance of the resources, and then I gotta go apply to you to get them. No, that's just another system of white supremacy.
That's right. Which is a system of control. Amen. All right, last 2 questions. Why should someone not vote for you?
Man, I mean, the only reason, I don't know. Why would you not want to vote for me? I'm a mommy. I got a lot of kids, you know, I might be busy or something like that. I'm real family oriented.
Okay.
But that's not a reason to not vote for me.
I agree.
I got a little PTSD with a little bit of forgetfulness, just a little bit, just a tad time sensitive. You know, I got to do better. But it would only be if you just hating on me. You don't like me. Now, I don't know. Why? I mean, in all honesty, I think that would be the only thing right for me, if I be honest, is my pull for being there for my kids. I will not make it because my baby got a football game.
Right. Yeah, but that's why you have a cabinet and a team.
There you go.
Because no one person can do everything, and that's just a given.
So, you know.
All right, let me flip it. Why should someone vote for you?
Oh, because we need some new energy around here. We need some real live energy. Somebody that's gonna go out here and just tell it like it is. I tell people all the time, sometimes I'm a cusser. I haven't cussed this whole time, but I like to use short letter words.
Yes.
And so we just need some refreshing energy that's going to be very honest and very frank about the situation. And I tell people outright, y'all not finna kill me.
Yeah.
The Lord is going to take me in his good own time, but it ain't going to be through the hands of you, because my eyes wasn't open, because I didn't speak my truth and just say to somebody, hey man, all you gotta do is grow a little bit of food and you're gonna be all right. I just told a dude the other day, he was stressed out. I said, you need to go get you a 5-gallon bucket. I got some soil in the back and some seeds. I'm gonna hook you up. You just need you a 5-gallon bucket and you put it on your porch. And every time you go water it, I promise you're gonna be in a new space.
Yeah.
So yes, vote for me because I'm trying to give y'all 5-gallon buckets.
That's right.
To put some soil in and put some collard green seeds in. So you're gonna have your own little 5-gallon collard green soil food bucket.
Amen.
That's why.
All right. Last question. So based on everything we've talked about, you get one takeaway from everything we've talked about to ensure that people will have that one thing with them for the rest of their lives. Now, everything you said, they should keep with them. But let's say you have a wand, magic wand. You say, okay, well, out of everything I said, I want you to always have this one thing that we talked about with you in your head for the rest of your life. What would that one thing be based on everything we talked about?
Growing food is a natural right. It's not even a right. Can't nobody even give that to you. It's just your thing. So growing it needs to be done.
Okay.
Just like wipe your butt. You gotta grow the food.
That's right. Please do.
It should be a part of regular routine.
Amen. Amen. All right. So on that note, I'm going to share this quick flyer so everyone will know what we're doing and why, just to drive the point. So we had this interview of Sister Tiffany Washington as a candidate for our National Community Agricultural Development Division leader, because we need people like her who understand that we got to grow our own food, because we got to eat. And if you don't grow your own food, then the people that give you your food or sell you your food, they not only use it as a system of control, they use it as a weapon to control, but sometimes they poison you. So what we have to do if we're going to be free, if we're going to be empowered, is not just grow our own food, but we got to protect it. Along with that, we have to educate our children. Along with that, we got to have political power to ensure that they don't build a freeway through our farm. Along with that, we got to be connected to other African nations, other African people outside of America, because our numbers are one of our greatest weapons. Along with that, we got to be plugged into IT. We got to be plugged into cryptocurrency. There's just so many things we got to do if we're going to have a nation within this nation by which we can be empowered and free. No one person brings all of that stuff. No one organization brings all of that stuff. What we're trying to do via the Black Gold Nation is find people like Sister Tiffany Washington who have an undying love and commitment to Black people, as well as the expertise and the understanding and the experience to lead Black people in one of the areas by which we're being attacked and destroyed. In agriculture, food sovereignty, food security, food apartheid is most certainly one of those areas. And it has to be a top 3, because again, if you're not eating, you're not doing anything. So people say we got to do business first. No, we got to do military first. No, we got to do spirituality, and everybody's wrong. We don't have the luxury of doing one thing at a time. But I tell you what, if we don't have our agriculture in place, it's going to be hard to do everything else, because guess what? You got to eat. So having the understanding of growing our own food, not just nationally, which is a big deal, but where we live, in your own community. And this is one of the reasons why this sister and people like her are going to be so vitally important to what the Black Gold Nation is doing, because we're talking about controlling zip codes that are predominantly Black and running them like our own mini Wakandas. That is our focus. That is our goal, starting April 30th. So like she just said, a 1/4 acre of land, she can feed people within an 8 to 10 mile radius. That's a lot of people. But what if we have not 1/4 acre of land? What if we got 5? What if we got 10? What if we got 20? Then of course we're feeding that many more Black people. And on top of it, also, as she said, because she said so much, we got to monetize it.
Yeah.
Agriculture is a $1 billion industry. And as Brother Kerry Jr., who is over the National Agriculture Department for Black Gold Nation, he says that agriculture is the only major industry on the planet the only one that Black people have all the pieces for right now. We're just not on the same page. What if we were on the same page? We could control our own billion-dollar industry. And what we're saying in the Black Gold Nation is that the only way we're going to do it is if we step up to do it, and nobody's going to do it for us because nobody gives a damn. We don't need anybody to be free. Everything we need, we already have. We just don't know it because we don't talk to each other. And we got to fix that. So on that note, Sister Tiffany, do you have any closing words you want to say to the people who will watch this, as well as people who might be thinking about voting for you? Any closing remarks? Oh, you muted.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, I like to eat, you know, I like to enjoy good food with good people and family. And we not doing it right. We haven't been doing it right for a very, very long time. And so just getting back to the soil, putting the baby's hands back into the soil for me, and reminding our elders that we ain't forget how to grow green beans, Grandma. I promise we didn't, is what matters to me. So that's all I got for y'all. And I'm looking forward to doing the work, Amen.
Okay, on that note, I like to tell everybody to always remember that no one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the liberation, salvation, freedom, and empowerment of Black people. Because if Black people don't make it, none of us are going to make it because we all Black. On that note, thank you very much, Sister Tiffany. I will be in touch, and I will most certainly see you soon. Not only because I need to come visit and learn more about what you do and how you do it, but I'm going to bring our youth program. We got about 4 or 5 kids that are part of the youth program. I'm going to bring them to you on a Saturday. We're going to spend a day with you, and then we'll go from there. On that note, thank you very much, sister. I'll be in touch. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.